First question is, tell us about your background and experiences and how they have prepared you for a seat on town council.
Thank you all for being here. As far as background experience, my time frame in the Navy, the military is an amazing structure as far as accountability and the amount of experience they give you in a small amount of time from the beginning. I was a department head for my first platoon. Was leadership, risk management, planning, moving millions of dollars literally worth of equipment all around the world. As a protective officer overseas, I've traveled to over 30 plus countries. I've been recognized for exceptional service and truly exceptional people. I'm trying to manage, you can imagine trying to manage some of the most challenging characters, on the planet is quite challenging. As a business owner, I've been independent. I've been self-employed for about 10 years. I've taken other jobs. I've known success, and I've been humbled as well. I've seen all of that. This is an amazing town for veterans to come and settle and find a place to call home. We've been very, very fortunate here. Even running for this position, it's amazing how much I've learned about the town that I call home and plan to raise a family. If there's one thing in my experience that I value towards this, accepting this, candidacy or this next endeavor in my life is teamwork. I have gotten to meet department heads, the seated council people. It's an amazing team, and quite frankly, I've been serving my entire adult life. If I get elected, I get to do that and raise a family too. So that's what I'm looking to do here. So thank you.
Second question, and we'll begin with Mr. Townsend. What do you consider to be the two most critical issues facing the Castle Rock business community? How do you think the town council should address these issues?
Thank you. I'm going to take a little bit different approach on this one. If it's the if it's the most critical, then I'm going to defer to public safety. And by public safety, I'm going to go a little bit bigger than our definition of our public safety header on the Castle Rock page. Obviously, our world is changing, and I'm noticing that people are having these conversations more and more. I mean, because of the industry, I hear this all the time. These other issues are very important, but not as important as our safety. Now, safety could mean our physical safety from the crime, from terrorism, from other things, but it could also mean clean drinking water. I think the water and public safety would be the primary. And then the second part of the question was, how should the town address that? We have, again, I've been meeting, all these guys have been meeting with department heads and the people in town and the citizens and all that. We have an amazing staff. We have amazing public safety individuals. We need to support them fully. They are watching what's going on around us that we don't necessarily see because of the safe community we live in. With the water, there's an amazing plan that I've seen and others out there that are solutions for the clean drinking water. Without water, as Mike stated, nothing else happens. And all of this falls off the table once we start talking about the safety of our children and our families. The second issue, and that's part of the question, I would say, is the traffic. The infrastructure, traffic in District 6, where I live, is a huge issue with the development that is already on the table. It's already happening, and people are expressing to me quite passionately, if you can imagine, what's going on with the traffic out there. I just met with a lady the other night that takes this crazy route. I'm not sure what the logic was, but it makes sense to her. It's more beneficial for her to cut up through town to hit 25 going to the tech center than it does taking any of the three main routes through leaving Crystal Valley. So that's very, very real for us. I know there's niceties and necessities, but for her that's a reality, and we'd like to address that.
How do you think the town should balance economic growth and community character?
I think with the economic growth and town character, the economic growth is coming, and we need to be smart about how we seize those opportunities with our investments, so the EDC and others. As that growth comes in, are we making smart investments now that are going to pay out later and show return on investment, so when the growth does slow down, then we're going to benefit from those returns. So I think that's very important right now. As far as the town character, I think it comes down to what are we willing to fight for? What are we willing to keep as Castle Rock? For me, I will fight tooth and nail for the star lighting, Pam, as it is. I don't know how many people I've talked to that chose Castle Rock due to that event. I was one of them. My family and I came, as it sits with no changes, Christmas carols, and everybody out in the street doing that, it's an amazing, powerful thing. And I think it makes us very, very unique, one, because of obviously the landmark, but then because that town feeling is what we need to fight, again, tooth and nail to retain. There's other things, obviously, and this building, I won't comment on that. I prefer, and this is just personally me speaking, a timeless look. I think our downtown has this timeless look. Was that built last year? Was that built 100 years ago? I don't know. I like that, but and I'm not an artist. I apologize, but I'm open to that. I've traveled the world, and I've seen places. I stayed in my seat. Okay, so sorry. So from that standpoint, the growth is coming. How are we going to expand on that? And then what are we as a town willing to fight for? Thank you.
Do you consider yourself a team player?
Yes. When you get handed the mic for the first question, you're like, oh man, what's this one going to be? And I'm like, really? Yeah, obviously, my background in the SEAL teams, they are the epitome of teamwork. Very, very I did a lot of growing up in the Navy. By the epitome of teamwork, you hear books are written, movies are made, all this stuff about teamwork. But what it forced a young man going out into the world for the first time to do was to actually admit that I have weaknesses and that other people have strengths. And when we leverage that, when we work together with that, you create this unstoppable force. I've seen that in this town, and I've seen strengths and weaknesses, and I feel that I have qualities that can benefit the town, specifically my district, but benefit this town. So, yes, I do.
What do you see as the main obstacles to attracting primary employers to Castle Rock?
It's expensive. The challenge is going to be, it's expensive to build here, it's expensive to live here. The impact fees are high, and I've learned more and more about why that is. And I think communication goes a long way. As was stated, the website is phenomenal. I'll admit it. I've never spent so much time on that website as I have as a candidate. But most of the information is there, and I think communicating and educating people to let them know why is the water so expensive. Well, because we have smart people planning for long term so we don't run out of water. Renewable water, that all takes money. Pipeline, digging, all this stuff takes a lot of money. However, we have an amazing town, and everybody knows it, and they want to come here. We have the right people. If we have the right people looking for the right employers, that's going to be a good investment. Again, if you open the doors and say, yeah, everybody come on in and all that, and it's not a smart fit for this town, then that's not an intelligent choice. You say, this is what this town is willing to fight for. Not just come in and dig up every piece of dirt you see, what fits for our town. We're willing to fight for it, and that's going to be a challenge for you.
Do you think citizen boards should be abolished?
Okay, so no, I'm gonna agree with these guys. If anything, I would say that I would encourage, and we're looking for ways to get citizens involved earlier. It seems like a lot of people are very frustrated after the deal's been done, after things have already taken place, and had they come in earlier, then it would have made more of an impact as far as their say. They need to be heard. Again, amazing resources out there, and seeing that, most people say, well, they should just go to the website. They should, but what is that answer to hear from them prior to it becoming kind of a too late issue? So keep the boards, encourage more involvement, and again, that's one thing that what Canada has done for myself. I learned more about this town in the past month than I ever thought. Once you see look behind the curtain, see how the sausage is made, you really, really appreciate what we've got going on here. So I would encourage, yes, the citizen involvement, and even encourage earlier involvement.
The participant in the audience wants to hear about 3 issues: the quiet zone, Tabor, and the southwest quadrant.
Okay, this is a lot. I'll try to go quick. Quiet zone. I'm for a quiet zone if it's done safely for pedestrians, not just vehicles. I worked for the railroad for a number of months. They have certain rules because they've killed people. We need to be safe. If we can do a quiet zone, there needs to be safety implements in there. If it's a quiet, you wouldn't think a train could sneak up on you. It absolutely can, and we're not going to help anybody by getting somebody else hurt. So yes, on a quiet zone, if we can do it safely, both for cars and pedestrians. On Tabor, it's the people's money as designated. If there's excess, give it back to the people. I say do it via a check, because a different type of way doesn't hit all the people. The people who paid may not receive the money. So I've had a USAA account with insurance. I remember getting a credit back. It was a dividend check. And my response was, why? Something's broken. What's the red tape here? As a small town, I know other towns aren't doing it. But if they became, Castle Rock gives their money back. Why? Because it's their money. I can think of a bunch of things to do with your money. It doesn't sound like a lot of money because we have an affluent community, but for the single mother, $43 is a lot of money. And it's hers. And I think we should give it directly back via check. What I know about the Southwest Country, or Dawson's Ridge, is that's kind of a problem child for the town because it's a family matter. That's somebody that doesn't want to work to complete, to continue development on that property that's already has an infrastructure. That money would go a long way in what we desperately need in District 6, and that's an interchange right there at 25 in Crystal Valley. We need that immediately. We need that now. I know it takes time to put that together, but somehow we need to look in, make it a priority to get with that landowner to make sure that we can get developers in there as our partners and develop that, and that will provide the fix that it originally, as I understand it, half of the side, is within the planning phase. The other side, we don't have the funding for it because of Dawson's Ridge, it locked to a halt. So when that stopped, that threw the wrench in the system here. So we need that to develop in order to move forward with the plan that's in place. Thank you.
What is your opinion on having a town-wide election for mayor?
I would agree with the if it's not broke, don't fix it. We've talked for a while now about all these things that we do need funding for. So and I'm fond of the representative form of government that we have here. It's very effective and it's timeless, especially for the fed of our town. The people don't represent one minor city, 7 of them. We elect the people that you think will represent a district, but then also keep in mind, that we're looking at the town as well, not just only District 6. That's not what I'm trying to do here. It's not what these guys are trying to do here as well. Financially, if we're going to rewrite the town charter and hold a whole other election to put somebody in town, so like Mike was saying about that vision of the mayor we want. However, I would like to state that I don't believe it's not just a moderator. It's not just a figurehead to go to ceremonies. It's the face of the town. So that mayor, in respect to the mayor and future mayors, we want that person to represent what we value in Castle Rock, and I think we have a good fit.
So the last question, and I just want to let the person in the audience know that Castle Rock does have a community college presence, and there are efforts in play to expand the community college. With that, the question to our candidates is that how do you feel about supporting higher education in Castle Rock?
Yes, I am aware of this, and I would be for supporting that. I haven't seen the plan on what that layout is as far as a footprint and where that's going to go. I have a rough idea, but I think that is a good idea to have people that are here, especially with the hospital there. If we can have people that come here to train, to learn, less impact on the community. They're going to come here, they're going to spend money while they're going to school, and they're going to add to our community, and then they're going to move on, and then that's going to be obviously it's going to add to our base as a town without having that huge footprint. They're going to be in here, as a part of that, they're going to leave with a memory of Castle Rock because of the time they spent here in Castle Rock, and I think it'll be a benefit for us in the long term.